前の亡骸を俺様がこの手でバラバラに。なんだなんだか寒い。俺の返して。
Hello and welcome to Merlin Reviews. Today we shall be taking a look at one of the main characters from Hunter x Hunter, Killua Zoldyck. Killua was born into a family of infamous assassins. He was trained practically from birth to be the most efficient killer possible. However, Killua showed some strong promise as he grew tired of the life his family had set before him. This caused him to go off to the Hunter exam. Now this was more to break the monotony of his life and pursue a sense of adventure, rather than a complete moral change. Still, his meeting with Gon and the spark of their friendship would be crucial in his development. For a young boy with his intelligence and skill, bred both confidence and arrogance, which was a hurdle for him in early battles. However, the most interesting aspect of Killua's character is the inner conflict between his assassin conditioning and his natural kind-hearted nature. There are a number of occasions where the brutality and willingness to take lives are evidence of the darker nature of the boy's psyche. Still, it is his friendship with Gon specifically which brings out the best in him. Killua is often more than willing to put himself in harm's way for the sake of his friends. Before encountering Gon and the others, the only family he knew didn't have the best intentions in mind, seeking to turn him into the ultimate killing machine by any means necessary, subjecting the boy to years of torture, for instance. In this sense, Killua has two families. Gon, Leorio, and Kurapika represent more selfless ideals in their respect and care for one another, even if they are mostly driven by their own goals. In Dungeons & Dragons, most of the characters of Hunter x Hunter would be considered neutral good. Both families represent two sides of Killua that are constantly at war with one another. Killua also acts as a possible reflection and foil for Gon. Initially, he seems as playful and carefree as Gon, a child with special abilities. However, once Gon learns of Killua's darker tendencies, he is offered one of his first major lessons in life. Though Killua's growth from being exposed to Gon is probably more significant, Killua is Gon's first major encounter with a more complicated world beyond his basic view of good and evil. This is one of Gon's major developments throughout the series, from his encounter with Hisoka and the Spiders, to the Chimera Antarch, and so on. Killua also must come to grips with his dual natures and refine them in a more balanced state. This ties into his fighting style as well. He also had to overcome his basic fears. Ironically, though being the most experienced with violence in the group, his analytic abilities caused him to freeze up when encountering a more skilled opponent. His older brother Illumi is the first evidence of this. He and Gon's experiences have been a major part of the series, and their relationship is one of the key components which holds it all together. Killua, like the other three, are very similar to the main characters of their parent series, Yu Yu Hakusho. Being the dark and brooding character found in many anime and manga, Killua is obviously comparable to Hiei. I'll get to Hiei in a later video, but I will discuss the comparisons here briefly. Though both have dark backstories and violent tendencies, that's really where the similarities end. Hiei is much older and more withdrawn from his group. Throughout most of the series, he convinces himself to be motivated by his own agenda. Killua has less rivalry with Gon than Hiei has with Yusuke. The two are good friends with much more obvious sense of goodwill with each other. Killua is easily one of the most interesting and well-developed characters on the show, primarily due to his relationship with Gon. Personally, Kurapika was my favorite of the group, but besides his own personal storyline, he's basically been superfluous. We won't even discuss the mostly untapped potential of Leorio. Still, Killua has real presence, and I've always been partial to his lightning powers. They're just so cool. Anti-heroes are always popular, and this one is no exception. Alright guys, those are my thoughts on Killua. Let me know your thoughts below and send me more requests. Until next time, stay magical, my friends.